Hey guys, it's your girl Mellow Joy, and this is another episode of For God's Glory. Just adding a little bit of light and encouragement to your week. Now, it's a beautifully rainy Sunday here on campus, and I think that this message is a bit appropriate. Well, for me, and maybe for you too. While at church yesterday, one of my favorite troublemakers asked me about how med school's going. And I shared with him that I'm on one of the heavier rotations of third year internal medicine. And I have just finished my second week at KPH. And he's like, wait, hospital, you know? I'm like, yeah. And so he follows up by saying, oh, whoa, that means you're each halfway then. I look at him, I'm like, I guess so. It's one way to look at it. He said, no, that's the way to look at it. And he excitedly, even more excitedly than I usually share my stories. Remember, I said last week we did well in it. He goes much more excited when he's telling his stories. And he tells me of this time when he was in primary school. When his teacher asked the class, how far into a thicket can a dog go in? And when all the kids threw up their hands and answered excitedly and answered, certainly of the answers, the teacher said no. The furthest a dog can go into a thicket is halfway. Because once it reaches halfway, it's no longer going in. It's on its way out. And he looks at me and says, you're no longer going into med school. You're on your way out. And in that moment, the perspective hit me like a rush of cold water on a hot summer's day. It felt like it was exactly what I needed without realizing before. So many times we're in the middle of our struggle. And we know we're in the middle because it feels like we are surrounded by it. Yet even in that simple illustration said years before I even existed. Hi. Years before I even existed, there was so much encouragement that I needed just in that moment. I don't know what you're going through right now. I don't know what you're in the midst of or in the middle of. But Christ is in your vessel. You're fine. In the same way that the disciples, the two of them, if you know which two, were in the midst of the prison guards. And in the midst of the night, there was no way out for them. God still shook things up and gave them a path out. Yeah. If wherever you are, everywhere you look, reminds you that you're in deep, remember you're also under his wings. And you're on your way out. Yeah. Let us pray. Hey, love. Thank you for the way you guide us through. For the way you hold our hands as we walk on water, and the way that you stop the storms just long enough for us to remember that there is peace wherever you are. And even the storms are reminders that you will carry us through it all. Lord, you've made us strong, but sometimes our weakness shines through. Remind us, Lord, that even in our weakness, you are strong. And even in our doubt, you are the one who is certain, and you certainly guide our path. Bless us as we enter this week of uncertainty. Bless us as we navigate the stresses of life. And help us to put it in your hands as you guide us to the other end, to the other end of the thicket. Just keep being you, I pray. In Jesus' name, amen. Until next time, it's your girl Mellow Joy, and this was another episode of For God's Glory. Later.